have a really fun activity for you to do with your kids while you're on quarantine or sheltering in place, with your kids or by yourself. We're going to make a cell smoothie. So who doesn't like a smoothie, right? With kids, I believe they study the cells in the 5th grade. So if you've got a 2nd, 3rd, 4th grader, this will give them a really good leg up. If you've got a 5th grader, they've been studying cells and they can probably tell you something, and you'll find out if you're smarter than a 5th grader. And if for your older kids too, it's a good review. And again, who doesn't like a smoothie? So I just grabbed some things that not necessarily what I would usually use for this, but I just grabbed some things out of my kitchen so that I didn't make a non-essential trip to the grocery store. But if you have to go to the grocery store anyway, you can choose what you want. So first thing, we're going to start with a nice square pan, or square, whatever, square or rectangle, because this represents our cellulose, our cell wall. This is what makes us know we're working on a plant cell wall, not an animal cell wall. Then I like to use a banana for my vacuole. A banana is a nice big item that we can use to represent this nice big vacuole that cleans the cell, and it also gives your smoothie a good texture. All right, so there's my vacuole, and I'll show you my cell when we're done. So then the next thing we need is a nucleus. So I've already washed all these. So I'm using a plum for my nucleus. Now before I actually put it in the blender, I will peel it and take the seed out. But I want to keep it round right now to remind me that it is the nucleus. So I'm going to put my nucleus in. Very nasty rumors. So the next thing we want to use is ribosomes. So my ribosomes are represented as a heart to remind me about the 2 subunits. So I didn't have any strawberries. That's what I would normally use as a ribosome, kind of that heart shape. So instead I used this little heart cookie cutter and made myself, out of a slice of apple, a little representation of a ribosome. Of course, we know a ribosome doesn't really look exactly like this, but it's a good representation. So hope you like my little apple heart. So I'm going to put my ribosome, which builds proteins, right in my cell. So there'll be lots and lots of ribosomes in your cell, not just, sorry, that is really bothering me. There we go. So there'll be lots of ribosomes. We're just representing with one. All right, so very nasty rumors can cause. Do you remember your C and your C? Your plastids, okay? So you have your chloroplast, which I'm going to represent with these little green grapes. Anything green you have can represent chloroplast, but it does need to be green, something green. So I'm putting my chloroplast in. Then chromoplast, all right? So chromoplast, remember, can be any other color that comes out of the leaves when the chloroplast dies. Red, yellow, orange, whatever. So for my chromoplast, I have some pineapple. So I'm going to put my pineapple chromoplast in. All right. So very nasty rumors can cause much. So for the mitochondria, you remember how I drew the mitochondria with my awesome artwork? Like a little lung, right? Or like what I imagine a lung looks like. So for the mitochondria, I am going to use sections of, whoopsie, this little tangerine, because I think that looks like lungs, and I want to remind myself that that's the mitochondria. So here's my little lungs. I'm going to put my lungs in there. The mitochondria, why I'm saying lungs, which I'm not sure I covered well in the last video, is because mitochondria are responsible for the respiration of the cell, the respiration. And if you think of it, when you breathe, if you're breathing really well, you're got a lot of energy, right? So mitochondria make the energy for the cell, ATP, and they're responsible for the respiration of the cell, which is why I'm representing them as little lungs. So very nasty rumors can cause much grief. So we're on our G. Normally, I would use a raspberry or a blackberry to represent the Golgi bodies, because they've got a lot of little bumps that I think of like the little arms that ship the proteins, fix the cell wall. They just are really busy. I didn't have any in the refrigerator, but I did have some these little blueberries. So I'm putting the blueberries, and those don't really remind me of Golgi bodies, but it's what I had. So I'm putting them near my cell wall. There we go, right on the edge. So that is, I'm going to bring my, I'll tell you what, let me see if I can do this. There we go. So there's my very creative cell right there. So you're getting an idea of what the artwork of my cell looks like. Lastly, I'm going to take my green, like Hawaiian punch, whatever, and pour some just a little bit into the cell. So what is this green liquid going to represent? Hopefully you remember that the cell is full of green goo, green liquidy, fibrous liquid called cytoplasm. So I hope you remember that'll stand for cytoplasm. Then I'm going to take my cell with a little yogurt, put it in a blender, blend it up, and I'm going to drink a delicious healthy cell smoothie. And that's an optional activity, but I hope you'll try it with your kids or just try it with yourself and enjoy.